Hollywood is currently going through one of the biggest fall-offs that we had ever seen. All year long, we've seen movie after movie, flop after flop, and nobody gives a fuck about the movies anymore, man. We're gonna react to why Hollywood movies are flopping. Is it because of the audiences not wanting to watch these movies anymore, or is it because Hollywood no longer has any good ideas? We're about to find out, but before we find out, bro, make sure you go ahead and press the sub button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We hit 1K very fast. Go ahead, claim your spot now. There's only a few spots left. You want to get yours before you can't get your 10K gang spot anymore. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
This year has been one of the worst for Hollywood that we've seen in a long time. Aside from a few obvious standouts, nearly every big budget film has fallen flat on its face. Why do so many modern movies suck?
Because nobody cares about certain movies.
They're 1,000-strong production crews. You'd expect the opposite. But over the past 2 decades, the quality of blockbuster movies has fallen off a cliff. So what went wrong? Well, this is a question that the big studios are asking themselves right now, as they're chucking endless amounts of cash at this problem. Modern movie budgets are the highest they've ever been. More and more money has been thrown at directors, letting them hire bigger actors, more writers, and leading to a revolution in visual effects. It seems like a simple fact that having more resources to realize your creative vision would make it better. But that's not the real reason studios have been doing this. Instead, as always, it's because of profits. Way back in 2009, as this trend for massive budgets was beginning to emerge, a research firm called S&L Kagan released a very interesting study looking at film budgets and how they relate to profits. With massive blockbusters, audiences knew they were going to see a big spectacle that was well worth the ticket fee. They also had enough of a marketing budget to make sure everybody knew about it. Most of the studios probably weren't basing their decisions on this study alone, they were working with the same data. And so soon enough, the big 5 movie studios were focused almost solely on big budget films, whilst the flow of medium-sized films has dried up. And this led to a few massive problems. You would think that more money would always help a film, but in the end, too many cooks spoil the broth.
It's called oversaturation. When you constantly give people the same thing over and over again, people start to care less about it, bro. So I think audiences want the same thing, they just don't want it the same way.
People new to the business used to be able to move their careers forward with these films. They gave new actors, writers, and directors a chance to make a name for themselves. Today, these ideas are pushed into Netflix shows instead, which pad out their stories into multiple seasons and lose all the impact a simple 90-minute film would have had. Today, we're seeing the results of the shift. People have gotten tired of the green screen spectacle. It simply isn't enough to guarantee profits. And you can tell the studios have been getting nervous about this for a while. It's why they've been relying more and more on reboots and sequels. As long as a franchise was successful once, they'll be happy to dig up its corpse and tell the same story again. And this trend of studios relying more and more on sequels and reboots has become ever more prominent over the last couple of decades, driven largely by the commercial appeal of capitalizing on established franchises, which comes with a ready-made audience and hence a lower financial risk. However, this approach has led to what we see today, the most boring, mundane, mind-numbing movies made to make a profit.
People only want to see certain things, but they don't want to see it a certain way. That's why, if we were to do some research, the fucking Lion King made over 1.6 billion. Niggas want to see that shit over and over again, dude. Everybody wants to see the same thing. They just want it packaged differently. Hopefully we do want more originality, but I'm not sure if that will ever happen.
The mass production of sequels and reboots just cheapens this connection, rehashing the same old themes time and time again, without ever advancing the narrative or character arcs, which can lead to a very stale viewing experience. And this is coming from these big studios' desire to play it safe and cater to established fan bases while pandering to political narratives.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937.
No.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White
that
is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
How about you tell up a different fucking story then? It's basically a different movie. Make a different movie then. Why on earth would you say something so stupid? I don't know who told Rachel Zegler to say that. The amount of disrespect that you have to get to your source material to then reboot it. What's the point? Make a different film.
Those Star Wars films were groundbreaking, amazing character development, extremely interesting adventures, huge innovation, groundbreaking special effects, setting a huge precedent in Hollywood, changing the entire movie industry. And yet the most recent Disney woke flops over-rely on boring CGI, boring scripts, inconsistent character arcs, and hollow virtue signaling pandering, just like Ghostbusters, where the original film was watched for decades, and yet the reboots are just feminist garbage, completely flopping at the box office, just trying to rely on the nostalgia of the past whilst ruining the reputation of the original Ghostbusters movie. But it's not just reboots that's destroying modern movie making. One huge aspect is the shift in audience attention spans.
I think people are a lot more selective of what they do choose to watch. A lot of these movies are the same. They have big budgets. Nobody wants to see a big third act that costs like 100 million by itself. That's fucking completely worth of garbage. People are a lot more selective because they don't want to see the same shit over and over again.
Now today, movie studios are just bidding to cater to the lowest common denominator, the TikTok Subway Surfers crowd, making movies as fast-paced as possible, often at the expense of storytelling depth, character motivations, overall messaging, and nuanced unfolding of the plot. It's this fast-paced, fast food-style movies that's making the message of these movies so watered down. Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest directors in history, claimed that these modern movies are like theme park rides when he referred to Marvel films rather than traditional cinema, encapsulating this broader industry sentiment, as Scorsese's comments hit at a concerning point that the essence of cinema is being overshadowed by a pursuit of adrenaline-fueled spectacles, shift in narrative focus and storytelling pace that's emblematic of a larger trend about the commercialization of the cinematic space. And it's this tilt towards high-octane action and fast pacing for a mind-numb consumer jellyfish audience marks this dystopian trend of pandering to the dumbest among us, ultimately driven by the greed of a monopolized Hollywood industry. But is it really just this move to action-packed, watered-down remakes that makes modern movies so bad? If only.
People don't want to see motherfucking character arcs. I feel like everybody's just kind of like, they just want some big event that's memorable. That's why a lot of the shit of fan service that happens.
And where storytelling and character development are already compromised by poor writing and ideological agendas, the issue of actor selection further complicates the cinematic landscape, as nepotism is rife in Hollywood. The children of established stars like Jaden Smith and Lily Rose Depp often find red carpets rolled out before them, not solely by virtue of their talent, but also their lineage. And this isn't to discredit their abilities or successes, but to highlight a skewed playing field in the Hollywood arena. And it has many consequences. Firstly, it always leads to the same sort of casting in these movies, where the same archetypes are perpetuated by similar kinds of actors, which always limits the richness of on-screen representation, because when roles are inherited rather than earned, the resulting performances lack the depth that comes from a diverse array of life experiences and the hunger that drives a self-made actor to delve deeply into their craft. And with the increasing budgets of these huge blockbuster movies and a continual decline in medium-budget films and small-budget films, Hollywood's creating an environment where the stakes are so high that the producers have to gravitate towards safe choices, which means always using the same established names or those with industry connections.
Low risk, high reward. Nepotism is one of the worst things in history. Like, whatever, nepotism is such a fucking bad thing. The people in this circle are the only people that get to do anything. Everybody outside that's trying to get in, there's almost no way to get in. Well, that's actually a terrible fucking way to explain it. Nigga, Google it if you don't know what nepotism is. Niggas be gatekeeping so much shit all because of nepotism, bro. Nepotism is one of the most annoying things, period, dude. Do you guys think that Hollywood needs to change their ideas, make some new ones? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Like I said before, we're on the road to 10K, gang. I'll see you boys later. Peace out. Ain't gonna lie, this nigga is getting dick down from all different angles.